Hi, I'm Sean Clark. I'm standing in front of the Myers house from Rob Zombie's 2009 Halloween 2. No, not this Halloween 2. And not the other Halloween 2 that's now referred to as Halloween Kills. It gets confusing, but welcome to Horse Hollow Grounds.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009, shot primarily in Georgia with the exception of this opening scene here, which is actually trimmed footage from his 2007 remake. This is at North Hills VA Hospital in California. If you want to see some of those locations, check out my episode on the 2007 remake of Halloween. Now this here is a set they built in Georgia to replicate the one from the film from 2007. We got a brand new young Michael and a brand new white horse, for better or for worse. And now we go to our first location, Covington, Georgia, the town square.
Well, it's impossible to get this shot unless you're up on a crane or up on top of the building behind me. But here is the town square. And this building you see right in the middle, the clock tower, you actually see in Friday 13th Part 6. You can see it from the police station, which is on the street just over there and to the left. You can see this building over Dan Roebuck's shoulder when he's passing out the popcorn to the kids. So this is the town square. This is where they had the little sort of Halloween carnival set up with the animals, little petting zoo action. Dan Roebuck is Frankenstein giving out candy and probably free passes to the strip club.
Now all these shots here are looking through the park at the town square over towards Clark Street, where she's walking down. Yes, Clark Street. I'd like to think it's a little nod to me, you know. That's makes me feel better when I think that. Now this is the street where Lori comes walking down, all bloody, and is greeted by Sheriff Brackett. Right in front of this house, about here. This is near the corner of Floyd and East. Just walking distance from the town square, obviously. Now heading back towards the town square. This is the Italian restaurant that doubled for the bookstore, where Lori sees the book. Oh boy, she's not pleased with it either. You can see it's now RL's, and I believe it was during filming as well. I remember people saying it was a good Italian restaurant. Now see that doorway behind her and that tree? Still there today. Tree's a little bit bigger though. She looks right in this window here, sees the Devil Walks Among Us book, is gonna walk it off, but then goes, you know what? I'm gonna go inside and see what this is all about. She ain't having it. Now when Lori has her meltdown in her car, she's sitting in the parking lot right about here where this white SUV is. Because the lens they're using, it makes it look like it's a little closer to the building than it really is. But as you can see, that is the building right there, and oddly enough, that is the back of that Italian restaurant, which doubled for the bookstore. So it was just shot in the rear. That sounds a little suggestive, but you know what I mean. Filmed in the back. We now head outside of Covington, Georgia, and head to Madison, Georgia, to the Morgan County Courthouse. And this was used for the sheriff's station in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now this has obviously gotten quite an upgrade from any previous sheriff's station we ever saw in Haddonfield. This is quite a structure. But it's very impressive and a beautiful building, and why not, you know? It's a reimagining. However, they used the actual name of the courthouse on the building. If you see in the film, you'll see that it says Morgan County Courthouse. When in actuality in Haddonfield, Illinois, it would have been Livingston County, I believe, is the fictional county. But hey, it's okay. You know, it is what it is. Most people don't even catch that. But it's a beautiful building, and it looks like it ties right into that town square in Covington, but actually it's quite a ways away. And now we head to Oxford, Georgia, for the first of a few scenes that were shot in this area. Right here is the billboard for the Devil Walks Among Us book. It's in this area here by the fence where the billboard stood. And Michael walks up and sees his image, rather large. And I do believe begins to get a bit of an ego. You know, it happens to the best of us. But just down around the corner is another scene.
That could have been the van right there. Oddly enough, a van going in the same direction, coming from over there. It's a cow. Cow, cow! Right in this area, right over here. Now, they originally shot this on March 27th of 2009. And then, unfortunately, the film was put through an X-ray machine at an airport and completely wiped it. So they had to come back here on April 8th and reshoot it. Right along here. Now, one thing you'll notice here is that the fencing, you can see it right behind Michael when he's picking up the piece of glass. You can see it's got that square configurations and then the two lines of barbed wire. It's still the same 12 years later. Hasn't changed a great deal.
And right here is where my good friend Richard Brake got his head severed. And you know, Michael was probably doing him a favor, because let's face it, he wasn't looking so good after that accident. The cow got the best of him, I think. And Michael looks down the road, and just up there, as the road starts to curve upwards, he sees his mom and a white horse. Just up there where that truck is, right about now. And then he starts heading towards her, because that's what we do when we see our moms with white horses, right? We head towards them. Now this is a barn that's just on the other side of the road. And it's a random barn we see a shot of in the film as Michael is entering Haddonfield. Sort of an establishing, I'm out in the boonies kind of establishing shot. Some people have referred to this as the barn that we see the vision of Sherry in, but that's a different barn, and we'll see that later in this episode.
This is where it happened. White horse scene down here, crash around here, random barn over there, and just down around that bend, the billboard. All within walking distance of one another.
We now get out of the boonies and head to Dunwoody, Georgia for our next location.
So now we are at the former location of Dunwoody Medical Center. This is where all the interiors of the hospital were filmed in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And there's some other information out there about it being another hospital that still exists, but that is incorrect. This is actually where it was shot. And this hospital was torn down soon after filming. And this beautiful new park was built in its place. But all the interior shots from the beginning of the film with Caroline Williams, Octavia Spencer, and Scout, basically the nightmare sequence was all shot right here, Dunwoody Medical Center.
Here are some aerial shots from what the hospital looked like, then after it was torn down, and then currently, now that it's a beautiful park. I believe they also used this hospital for the final scenes of the white hallways. You can see the ceilings match up, especially in this one side hallway to the left. It definitely matches up. There's 4 squares and the light configurations. I think they just painted a random section of hallway pure white and shot this scene there as well. Now we head back to Covington, Georgia to see the exterior of the hospital.
So now we are at Alcove High School. It's from this door behind me that Lori escapes the hospital
And runs out into some serious rain.
This is actually the rear of Alcove High School, and I gotta tell you, this is one of the nicest high schools I've ever seen. Like, it is a full-on facility. I mean, it looks like a college campus. It's insane how big it is.
So Lori comes running through the parking lot here in the rain, as you can see in this area here. And Michael's following. She runs along this section here and then heads towards this little shack, this little security shack. Now you see the telephone pole there and the fire hydrant. You can see that to give you an idea where that shack was. That shack would have been just to the right of those green dumpsters.
Okay, something crazy just happened. I had to share the story. So I'm driving down the street going to another location, and there was a cop that stopped me because apparently they were filming on the street a show called Steel Magnolias, I think he said. We start talking because he wanted me to wait until they said cut and then I could drive past. You know, what are you in town for? And I start talking to him and everything, and I brought up the Rob Zombie's Halloween. He goes, you're not gonna believe it, but you know that shack behind the hospital that Michael Myers tears up? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I built that shack. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And he goes, I built it. And I said, yeah, Rob Zombie actually complained about you on the commentary then, because he said it was built too good, and you know, Tyler Mane had a hard time destroying it. And he said, I was pissed off, man. I worked on that thing for over a month and they just smash it up. He didn't realize they were just gonna smash it. It's just so strange because I literally just came from that location. What are the odds?
We now head to one of the more out-of-the-way locations, and that's in Newborn, Georgia, and that is the Brackett House. It is a private residence, which is fenced off, and you can't get very close to it without permission. See all those trees have the leaves off of it? Well, easy to see then, but now, not so much. This is also the road where we see Lori driving away to go to her therapist, right out in front of the Brackett residence. But there's a lot of stuff that goes down at this location, you know, towards the end of the movie especially, and unfortunately, just can't get too close to it. I don't believe they really shot inside this house either. It definitely looked like a set, especially the bathroom and Lori's bedroom. And speaking of sets, we'll go see where those were built right now.
So this is former location of Coral Beach Studios. They were in Suite G&H, and this is where they filmed all the interiors for Rob Zombie's Halloween, inside these big warehouses. Now it just seems to be industrial type businesses, and the studio does not appear to be active here anymore. Now standing in front of the 12 Oaks Bed and Breakfast. It was inside this building that they used the interior for Margot Kidder's office, the therapist office for Laurie Strode. It was right inside here somewhere. Doubt we're going to be able to get in there, but I might just ask, you know? What's the worst they could say is no.
And they said no. But that's okay, because it's not a very exciting room anyway. Moving on.
So this is a deep cut here. This house here was used for the interior of Maya's apartment. This is the guy that Rob talked about on the commentary that was the pack rat, and his house was full of stuff. It's this house. Don't know if he still lives here, but this is the one. Like all the windows are covered. I don't know. stairs inside here. That was Maya's apartment.
Not too far from the courthouse in Madison, Georgia, are a few other locations, starting with Uncle Meat's Java Hole, which in actuality is a coffee place, Oconee Coffee Roasters. Now, unfortunately, I got there just as they closed, so I wasn't able to go inside, but I could film through the window, and it's not a very big place, as you can see. Those stairs are still there. You don't see them very well in the film, but they're right behind him right there. And this is shot from up on top looking down, obviously. See the stairs to the right? Kind of hard to see because they're so dark, but they are there. Outside looks pretty much the same as well. Now this is from the deleted scenes where Lori comes out of the back of the coffee shop, throws some trash away. This isn't actually the back of that building. This is another building not too far away, but she looks across the parking lot and sees herself being hung on this tree right here. Now check out this shot. I don't think this is Tyler Main. Look at that guy. He's struggling and he looks smaller. I don't think that was him. Even in this close-up shot, that doesn't look like him. I don't know, that's just my opinion. It might be, but it didn't really look like him. Anyway, this stupid trailer was in the way, messing up my shot. But if you look close here, see the red fire hydrant and the telephone pole? Boom, still there. Still look exactly the same. All good. Look at that.
Here is the entrance to Maya's apartment. Seen very briefly in the film. They strung a lot of lights on this railing here, but it's actually just the back of a business on a main street.
We now go to the Hotel Intercontinental in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. This was used for the exterior and interior of the hotel. Hasn't changed a whole lot. Hasn't been that long, to be honest with you, but pretty much the same. A few minor changes on the inside. Now you'll notice when they're walking through the door, you can see that Charles Schwab building in the background. Check it out there, see? Charles Schwab. Boom, still there. I always like this part where he kind of bumps her into the wall here. Boom. Yeah, it takes her out. Now we're just going to follow their route from the door, past that piano, and through the hotel until they get to the ballroom area. So let's just watch them take a stroll, shall we? You can see those rocks on the wall are still there. Now when they get to the end of this hallway, I wasn't able to film much of the ballroom area because security stopped me. There was an event going on. He did, however, say I could come back and film later, but unfortunately I was on a tight schedule and I wasn't going to be back in this area anytime soon. And I got that much of it. I just wish I could have got into the actual ballroom, because they did use the ballroom, as you can see here. But if you've been to as many convention centers and hotels as I have, these all look the damn same, so I don't care. But this was also an actual hotel suite in the hotel. I wish I could have found which room. I would have actually rented it out for the night if I could have found which room. Now these scenes here at the TV station when he's being interviewed, those were shot downtown as well at an actual station. That was the Georgia Public Broadcasting, and that's where they used a set from a real TV show to do this little fake TV show. And also the lobby area when they're leaving the TV station. That was also on those premises. And now we head to the Myers house. And yes, they spelled Myers wrong on this map. This is in Covington, Georgia. And really, it doesn't look much like normal Myers house, but you know, it's similar to the one they had in South Pasadena from the 2007. You can see those poles. They covered them up with sort of, made them square looking, see, to kind of match the other house. They did a pretty decent job of matching. It had a balcony and everything, so, you know, if you were to look at pictures of them side by side, you'd obviously tell the difference right away, but in all honesty, it worked. It was seen briefly in the film, and it's funny how such a beautiful house, they made it look so run down. And now we're going to go to Decanter, Georgia, for a few locations here. Now this one is a real deep dive, the Decanter Cemetery. There was a deleted scene where Myers sees young Myers and Mother at the cemetery. Now, this cemetery is massive. I walked around this cemetery for a good hour and a half, trying to match anything up. I found things that looked similar. I couldn't match a damn thing. So I'm just going to show you some footage of the place, just so you can see it. And no, I gave it my best shot, but for the most part, I don't think I really matched anything up. I don't know. But I was in the right cemetery, because obviously the production notes and maps say this is where they shot it. So they shot it here somewhere. The only thing I could kind of even find that was, you know, is this water spout. And I found the only water spout I found in the entire cemetery. And I walked through that whole cemetery. I don't even think that's the right one. But who knows? It might be. Who knows? It's pointing in the wrong direction if it is. But anyway, it is a big-ass cemetery. Pretty cool cemetery. Got to see plenty of it walking around there all friggin' day. But this was it. Decanter Cemetery. Now notice here on the location maps it says Exterior Bookstore 515, which is this Waffle House right here. Now it wasn't a Waffle House when they shot the film, it was something else, but they did not use this as the exterior of the bookstore. They did use the same store that they used for the interior, which is this building right over here at 545, which is now today some sort of convenience store. But you can see they're lined up outside of the windows right here. You can also see those lanterns attached to the wall and near the entrance there. Those are all still there. Today it's called Best Time Coffee, Fashion, and Jewelry. But when you go in there, it just looks like a convenience store. You know, it doesn't look like fashion, jewelry, and coffee. The main doors there still look the same. And right over here in front of these windows is where Malcolm McDowell was doing the book signing. You can also notice the crown molding at the top near the ceiling. That's all exactly the same. Who knows what it was during production, but just a convenience store. We now head to the exterior of the Rabbit and Red Lounge in beautiful Farrar, Georgia.
So now we are at the exterior of the Rabbit and Red Lounge. And it's from this door back here where Jeff Daniel Phillips steps out to take out the trash. Leans up against that pole there for a moment, finishing his cigarette, flicks it, grabs the trash from over there, and then walks across this lot over to the trash can, which I believe might still be the same one. Who knows? Nah, probably not. And then Michael scares him. He gets scurred. And they have some words right about here. And he tells him, "Don't give me no reason." He already sent one sorry jag off to the ER. Don't want to have to do another. So you can see that building in the background the whole time. But this is the main spot used, is the rear of this building. and they only use this for exteriors. The interior is at a different location we will head to next. I wonder if there's still a little bit of Jeff's head left here in the dirt. Little remnants, a stain maybe somewhere in this grass.
We now head to the interior of the Rabbit and Red Lounge in southeast Atlanta.
So I'm standing outside of what is called the Office, which is a strip club here outside of Atlanta, but it used to be called the Foxy Lady, and it's inside here where they filmed the interiors of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Ladies, opportunities awaits at the Office. Not sure why they couldn't use this place for the exterior of the strip club. I mean, I think that looks like this would have worked just fine. Almost looks similar to the other location. This is the interior, the Rabbit in Red. It's totally being renovated. This is where they shot it. According to Rob Zombie, it was a real shithole, like sketchy. They had to do some heavy cleaning even to make it passable for everybody. And it looks like it's gonna be all spanking brand new. It smells clean in here, so I would say when the Office opens, this will be a pretty fine establishment. And back here was little rooms. Dressing rooms. They actually shot reshoots of the interiors when Lou is in his back office with the stripper. They shot that. They built a set in Connecticut in an old office space to do those reshoots after principal photography had ended. There it is. This is the street Myers is walking up. So you see Michael walking down the street. But just a little over there to the right, 2 houses down, you'll see the Myers house right there. Super close. So this is the house the little boy is trick-or-treating at before he bumps into Michael Myers. 2146 Thompson. Gets his treats right there. Comes down through the little fence, it's no longer there, and then runs along this way to where he bumps into Michael by that telephone pole. So they stop right about here and looks up at Michael. You can see the telephone pole behind him. Should be that angle, roughly. Then there's a shot of Michael walking away.
On March 23rd to the 25th, they filmed The Phantom Jam at the Fertilizer Warehouse in Newborn, Georgia.
How cool is that? Those bells are going off. That's all, folks. And here is the location of the Phantom Jam. An old fertilizer company.
Now right around this corner here is the entrance to the Phantom Jam, and it was pretty overgrown and kind of sketchy to get to, so I just kind of kept my distance. But I really wish I could have been there to see all these projections on the side of the building and that water tower. That looks pretty amazing. I think that would have been pretty awesome to see in person.
So Wolfie's van was parked right down here. Pretty much right against this fence. That building in the background there is where the Phantom Jam was.
We now head to the location of the shack, the farm, and the barn in Newborn, Georgia. And here's the field directly across the street from the barn where Michael is walking. Several shots he's walking through this very field right here. Very beautiful during the day when it's all desaturized, the color and everything, the way Rob shot it makes it look very eerie. Now this shack, as they call it, I believe no longer exists. In fact, I don't even know if it was a real shack or if they just built it for the film. But clearly, if it was real, it was falling down, and they blow the wall out the side here when he comes flying through. The interior was a set on a soundstage at Coral Studios. Now, I believe the shack was on the property of the house that's across the street from the barn, but I do not believe it's there anymore. Now we're going to head across the street to the barn. Now when you see them approaching, where Sherry and Tyler are heading towards the barn, they're heading from the front. But when Michael walks in, aka Tyler, he walks in from the rear. Now this is the front, so Sherry would be standing there to the left with her back to us right now, is where she'd be standing when Michael walks in. So now we're going to go around the rear to where Michael walks into the barn. They obviously had built something here around this rectangle as a sort of entrance for him to come through. But when you see him walk in, he's coming from the rear, walking towards the front. Right through there. Then he sees Sherry basically standing right where we're looking, inside the barn. So that's looking out towards the front. You can see it right through there. That's where she'd be standing, her back to the road. Pretty cool that they use this actual location. Now we'll take a closer look at this barn because it's a beautiful structure. From all sides. Taking it in, soaking it in.
This is the final location of the film, and this is where we're going to end our tour. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and if you did, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know, ring the notification bell. I don't even know what that does. I don't even know. Anyway, hope you had a good time. See you on the next adventure.